What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the GSN Sports Network podcast. I'm your host, John J. II. Thank you so much for joining me tonight on a Wednesday, 10:19 p.m. on 4/16/2025. It's almost the resurrection of our Lord. It's Holy Week. Get in church this week. It's a holy time in Christianity. So do your part and get in the church. Thank you for joining us tonight. We got a great show in store for you. Going to talk about golf primarily. Going to dive into a couple other things as well before we sign off, but it's mostly going to be about golf, mostly going to be about the Masters, how it all unfolded. What are my takes on the entire thing? How did those coincide with what our expectations were? And we'll just kind of go from there. Tonight, it is brought to you by Zyn 6 milligram peppermint. Got to give a shout out to my boy Isa Ibrahim for this flavor. Absolutely amazing. I mean, I didn't know. I wasn't really a peppermint guy. I'll be a peppermint guy if it's like candy canes and mistletoe and everything like that. Christmas time, I will indulge in some peppermint. But if it's not, usually I'm not a big peppermint guy. And I have one left, so it's a good day. So what happened with the Masters? How did the Masters unfold? Masters week is now behind us. We only have the opportunity to look forward to next year and next Masters week because it is so electric. We mentioned this. I said this actually. It's like the Rose Bowl. All right, it's the granddaddy of them all. It's the big deal event, and it was said on another show that I was listening to earlier this week. It's like you could win a major. You could win the U.S. Open. You could win the British. You could, go on and win the PGA Championship. But people forget about it. People forget about it. If you win the Masters, people don't forget about you. Okay, the Danny Willets, the Sergio Garcias, the Patrick Reeds. Some of these guys can get lost in the background when it comes to winning a major. But you hear their name and you automatically associate their name with a green jacket. And that's the important part of it. And that's why it's so true. I think it's because it has its own aura. I know that's a very overused word in today's culture. But it does. It has its own aura. It has its own branding. It has its own color scheme. It has its own niches. It has its own uniquity where it really makes it a tournament unlike any other. And that's why they call it that. Okay. Traveling down Magnolia Lane, seeing the undulation based on what I've heard. I've only heard from Sobo based on the firsthand accounts that he has about the undulation, about all the hills, about all the elevation that's going on the course. You really can't get a feel for that by watching it on TV. You have to be there. You have to walk the hallowed grounds, which are Augusta National. But let's talk about Rory McIlroy. So you want to talk about a choke artist. That is Rory McIlroy. And he's received a lot of hate, actually, recently, especially because of, there's clips of him pulling out of the facility and skirting his tires on his vehicle. He went and took the guy's phone, which you shouldn't have your phone out of the Masters anyway. I kind of side with Rory in that regard. But he took a lot of shit for kind of being that guy. And I just have to put it out there. Now that he has the Grand Slam, he is essentially public enemy number one. I looked at Scotty Scheffler a lot like this, actually before this week. And I guess it did feel good to see him put the jacket on somebody else. And Rory threw that little cocky jab in there at the end. Oh, I hope I'm putting this jacket on myself. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, it's good. But you want to look at how close you came to blowing it. You want to take a snapshot into last year's career for Rory McIlroy. It didn't look too good. It looked like a guy on the way out. It looked like a guy that was washed up. So I was rooting for Rory in this tournament. As soon as he went to a playoff, though, I was rooting for Justin Rose. Okay, I was rooting for Justin Rose, and I thought he had what it took to get the job done because he was looking very poised. He looked like he wanted to make a comeback, and he looked like he felt elated to be there, first of all, to compete, second off, and he wanted to reclaim some of the choking that he did early on and midway through the tournament because he had the outright lead. He looked very hot, and look what happened. 11 under wound up taking it, minus the playoff, obviously. But I did an early projection. I said 12 under is going to win it. The announcers are saying 15 under outright will win it, no playoffs included. And they were kind of getting a feel for how the tournament was playing out. You see Justin Rose come in at 8 under day one. I mean, come on now. This guy is playing out of his mind, and he looked really good. He looked really good. And I was rooting for him. I wanted him to do well. I knew that he was going to retract and regress back to the mean a little bit. That was expected. That's expected in any tournament, especially the Masters. But then to see him make a comeback and a resurgence towards the end, that was awesome to see. And to see him fight, to see him be on the range and basically wait for the call. Hey, you got to head over to 18 because we got a playoff. He was ready for that call to be made. And you look at that final putt, because they both had pretty, well inside 15-foot putts for birdie. Justin had maybe a little bit more of an outside chance than Rory did. But his putt was very makeable. I don't know if the environment got to him, if the, everything that was going on around him kind of got inside his head. That could have happened. Okay, you get lost in the moment a little bit, on the verge of winning, or you basically can touch the green jacket, you can taste it, but you can't put it on, and it's not being draped over your shoulders, which is unfortunate for Justin. But he is a relentless SOB when it comes to the game of golf. And listen, guys, Justin Rose is a competitor. He will take a lot of flack. I don't know why. Now you look at guys that are hated, and they have the hateability factor to them. I would not put Justin Rose in that category, other than the fact that he's very poised, he's very level-headed, and I can say that about Rory as well, and even Scottie Scheffler. Most of these guys that are the best, you could put them in the category of golfers that keep a level head. They keep their wits about them. And it was said by a very wise man, if you have nothing else, keep your wits about you, because if you lose your wits, and this goes for any situation, if you lose your wits, you're screwed. You're dead in the water. Okay? It's game over for you. So to keep your wits about you, especially in the game of golf, is a very important thing, and it cannot be slept on in the slightest, because it's very important. So I guess going back to Rory McIlroy's round a little bit, talking about Rory McIlroy's round, his final round, holding on to it. Bryson DeChambeau is on his ass when it comes down the stretch, and he shit himself a little bit. Early on, you look at those first couple holes, okay? It looked like Bryson was going to make a big resurgence and come back and show us the Bryson that we've all been watching on YouTube, playing the break 50 rounds that we've all seen. He does it with a lot of different guys. He's done it with Trump. He's done it with John Daly. He did one with Phil Mickelson recently. And I don't believe they've done it yet. Okay, now they're playing from around the red tees. But you're talking about breaking 50 on 18 holes. That's a hell of a feat. And that's a feat I would love to see. I don't know who he's going to do it with, but it's going to be impressive when we do see it. But Rory McIlroy, you got to give him credit. He is the choke artist of them all. He's the choke artist of the PGA Tour, and this is a win for the PGA Tour in and of itself. Not like it's a PGA Tour versus Live type of event, okay? But it's a win for himself. It's a self-win, and regardless if he's a cocky SOB or not, I don't think he is. Let me clear my name here. I don't think he is, okay? I think he's humbled. I think he knows he's good. He knows he's good. That can't be slept on. He knows that he's good. He's not afraid to admit it. But I think he's happy to be in the position he's in. Comes from humble beginnings, Northern Ireland, and his parents basically gave him everything. They took a shot on him to say, "Hey, we're going to watch you and see what you can grow and develop into in the game of golf. We're going to trust in you." And he went off and basically succeeded on all accounts to do that and make a name for himself in the PGA Tour and the world of golf. So you got to take you got to tip your cap to him, right? You got to tip your cap to him. You got to give him accolades. You got to give him the comeuppance, if you will. And you got to be happy for him. Achieving the Grand Slam, you are joining a short list of golfers that most golfers can only aspire to achieve, being on that list. So that's a feat in and of itself, a grand slam. He could basically retire tomorrow and be happy with his career as a golfer. Okay, at 35 years old, that's a pretty good feat. So I got to give the credit where credit's due. But jumping over to Sobo's picks, now Rory, I believe, was in his lineup in the pool, and I have to check up with him and see how he's doing. But I had a couple other people that were riding with Rory essentially going into this tournament. I think that was a very good bet. Pre-tournament, he was plus 650, which is already kind of a, not an ultimate favorite like Scotty, but he's right there. He's right there. I believe he was second when it came to the odds. So you got to give it to him. Got to give it to the people that trusted in him. Give it to the people that trusted in Bryson too, and maybe even some of the guys he didn't expect to shine. The Sung J M's, the Patrick Reeds, the Obergs. Okay, now Oberg was kind of the dark horse, I think, in this tournament. That was somewhat slept on. You expected him to do better than he did, especially coming down the back nine on Sunday. You expect him to play better and not shit himself. Okay, he's another guy that keeps his wits about him. Very good at that. I'd say everybody in this top 10 list would be in that category. Zach Johnson made a resurgence. Corey Connors looked like he was going to make a splash on Sunday. He more or less shit himself as well. Same with Jason Day, Xander Schauffele, Max Homa, Morikawa, especially Jordan Spieth, Tyrrell Hatton also was in the top 2. I believe he was leading at one point as well. So a lot of these guys, they opened the door for the closers. And that's basically what Rory McIlroy, Justin Rose, DeChambeau, Scheffler made a run at the end. He kind of had to play an uphill battle towards the finish. But he even made a splash. He had threatening moves coming down the stretch on Sunday on the back nine. And you're like, this is classic Scotty. Where was this on Saturday? Because you've seen him falter a little bit and have to fight an uphill battle. But I'm really happy with how Zach Johnson played. Corey Connors finished in the top 10. And some of these other guys, Jordan Spieth, got to do better. Justin Thomas, got to do better. Will Zalatoris, got to do better. These are the guys that I trusted in. These are the guys that I put faith in, that I saw them in practice rounds. I saw them in the par 3 challenge. And they played terrible. Okay? Zalatoris didn't even make the cut. Okay? Justin Thomas made the cut, but not by much. Okay? He has to do better. He has to do better. If you're playing at this level, all right, we were saying, it has to be clear, we were saying these same exact things about Rory McIlroy 1 year ago or less. Okay, people thought Rory was done. People thought he was done, and you wouldn't be a crazy person to think that, but he proved us all wrong. Kind of like Phil did when he won the PGA, and same like Tiger did when he won the Masters in 2019. So you can look at a lot of these guys and they have a great ceiling that they have yet to reach. And I would put, I'd put Justin Thomas in that category. I would put Oberg in that category. Zach Johnson has a ceiling that's yet to be reached. Corey Connors is a rising star that can't be forgotten about. And there's a lot of these guys that are fit in that category. But golf is so incredibly difficult, where the margins are so small. You have to be built so differently to compete, not only compete, but to succeed and to be better than the field, because you're not just playing the game of golf. You are playing the game of golf internally, as it is an internal battle the entire time. But you're playing against the field, okay? And that's the reality of the situation. You're playing against the field, and you can't forget about the fact that you're playing against the field as well. And you're also fighting against yourself, your internal battles that have to be won. Okay. Bubba Watson played well. Okay. Tom Hoge, we expected him to be in the top 15. He finished tied for 14th. Hovland didn't have the best weekend, but he finished 2 under. And then Joaquin Niemann. I thought he would have played better. I thought he would have made more of an impact on Sunday. He didn't do that. Now, Augusta, it's such a tough course, okay? And they can control the speed of these greens. I would say they were the most receptive on Thursday going into Friday, and then it became firm and fast Augusta National come Sunday. So you're adjusting with the course and how it's playing throughout the entirety of it. It's just an incredible sport. It's an incredible sport, the game of golf. and I could go off on tangents. And I wish I'd been out this year, but I haven't been out yet. Okay, and maybe I'm just waiting for week one of the league to do that. But be it as it may, that's the reality of it. But in that same vein, let's talk about golf. Live versus the PGA Tour. It's an everlasting, ongoing conversation that we will always have. And it's always going to be there until they join forces or until one of them dissolves into obscurity. But the fact of the matter is, Live is still in existence. PGA is still in existence. I've heard stories of guys wanting to rejoin the PGA Tour after, basically making and securing the bag with Live. And I don't know if that's warranted. I don't know if they're allowed to do that or what the hell is going to happen if that comes to be. Because if it does, a lot of these guys, I still got to take my cap off to a lot of these guys that stuck with the PGA Tour. I'm still a firm believer in, and obviously, you got to put yourself in that situation. If you're not in that situation, it's hard to make a take on it. But do it for the tradition. Do it for the sake of the creation of the majors, all the majors, not just the Masters, but the PGA Championship, the U.S. Open, and the British. Okay, all these tournaments matter. They're all privately sanctioned, so essentially, live golfers can play in all four majors. And I think that's a little bit of a, it's a consolation, but you want the best of the majors, and they're all essentially opens. So you have to earn your right and earn your spot to play in these majors, but you're there for the tradition. You're there for maybe not so prominent tournaments that aren't majors, but they could be. Okay, you got, the Players, you got a lot of different tournaments that are in that category. The RBC Heritage coming up. There's a lot of tournaments. Okay. There's a lot of tournaments that fit that category, but I think that they all fit the bid when it comes to the tradition that is surrounding the PGA Tour. And it's so great. And there's so much history behind it where Live is so new. Essentially, you could look at it on twofold. Become a part of a new legacy, which is Live. Okay. Trust Live to live on, essentially going forward into the future, like forever. But you have so much time to build that up, and you can say, yeah, I was part of the first class of Live, but I would rather be a part of something that has prominence and has had prominence for the better part of a century or more. So that has to be taken into account. And I respect the guys that stuck with the PGA Tour, regardless of chasing the bag, because they know they got money. They know they could make more money, exponentially more money, play less tournaments, put less wear and tear on their bodies, spend more time with their families. I mean, it's a great sell. It's a great sell. But it's almost a decision that when you take the bait on joining Live, it's like you're everlastingly tainted with having jumped ship from the PGA Tour. Whether you rejoin the PGA Tour, whether you play in majors, which all these guys should play in majors, and I have mixed reactions to it, mixed feelings about it. But play in the majors, play the best of the best. That way you can't, have a skill gap between the guys that are on Live and the guys on the PGA Tour that have stuck with the PGA Tour. There's a lot of skill in both of them. But it's a tough pill to swallow to see a lot of these guys. And I'm still butthurt about it from what has happened. And it's been a couple of years now that Live's been in existence. But those guys that jumped ship, okay, the Dustin Johnsons, the DeChambeaus, the Patrick Reeds, the Phil Mickelsons, the big names, right? The big names. A lot of these guys have jumped ship. A lot of them have stayed. And it's opened up the door for new opportunities for rising stars in both of them. And I think that is good for the game of golf, speaking to the game of golf individually. But it is what it is. You're never going to win the argument. There's great takes on both sides. So you just kind of live with it. But I could see something happening where they merge or they join forces someday. I think that's really the only way that this can work. But it's so tough with the business model being so different from one another. John Daly had a take on Live. I was watching a clip where he said if they had Live when he was playing and when he was rising up as a star in the game of golf, he said he would have joined Live. Okay, and John Daly, I think, was a perfect fit for the Live Tour because It's a party tour. It's a very accepting tour to maybe not counterculture when it comes to the game of golf, but definitely counterintuitive prospects, the loud environments, the team allegiance. Okay, there's differences where I think John Daly specifically would have thrived in the Live Tour. And he backed that up and would say it. He said he would went and chase the bag. Okay, he mentioned doing it for your family, doing it for your lineage, uh, endowments, right? And creating a trust for your children, your children's children. Essentially, you can afford for all of them to live and thrive for generations, right? That's the mentality that John Daly had. And I believe wholeheartedly he would have joined Live if he had the opportunity. But that's passed him by. Unfortunately, it never came to fruition during his tenure as a PGA Tour player, as a professional golfer. So it is what it is. Okay, a lot of these guys have different takes on Live, and everyone has their own reactions to the players that have jumped ship, the players that have stayed, and there's a lot of different ways to look at it. But the reality of the situation is these two tours essentially exist, and how will they move on into the future has yet to be answered. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that going forward. Switching gears a little bit, we got to talk about the Red Wings. They missed their playoff bid, their playoff berth for 2 years in a row. This is not like the Detroit Red Wings playing so well, winning some great games, okay, down the stretch, and even going into the new year, January, February, putting yourself in a position where you should have comfortably made a bid, but they didn't. Okay, and this is for the second straight year. They have a good team. They have a solid team. Okay, it's led by Dylan Larkin, right? Still a young guy, but he is a prominent player. He's not so young anymore. And to see these guys miss the playoffs and miss the opportunity to battle for a Stanley Cup yet again, okay, not even be in the conversation. Okay, we've seen bad years for the Detroit Red Wings where they've still made the playoffs and still made at least a run. Okay, that's not going to happen this year. So it is what it is. But I got to talk to my NHL guys, how they feel about it, how it changes the landscape, because you got new teams that are rising into the conversation in the NHL that really weren't in the conversation before, but it's not making the job any easier for the Red Wings to make a playoff bid in the future. They're going to have to fight harder, play better, and win those games that are 50-50 games. Because if you don't, you're going to be sitting on the sidelines, sitting on your ass in your basement watching these guys play for a Stanley Cup. And that's what they're doing this year. So I hope they're comfortable. I hope they grab their popcorn because it's going to be a good one no matter what. But the fact is you're not playing. So that leaves a sour taste in your mouth. It has to leave a sour taste in your mouth, especially for the Detroit Red Wings fan base, which I would include myself. And it's a sour taste that you gotta swallow it. You gotta swallow your pride and move forward. And the saying is as old as time. There's always next year, right? And you get tired of hearing that. But that's the reality of the situation. The GSN Challenge 6 is on September 13th, 2025. It's a fall tournament. It is the two-man scramble, and it has to be said. Okay, this graphic was created by the committee, and this will be in the scorecards at Briar Ridge. So if you go to Briar Ridge, you go play golf, you play 9, you play 18, you take a Saturday and you go play some golf, you are going to see this on the scorecard. All right, so I encourage everybody that does that to go ahead and scan this QR code, which will take you right to the GSNC landing page, which will give you the sign-up options to register for the tournament, the two-man scramble of the year. It has been a while, but it hasn't been long enough at the same time. This is the two-man scramble. This is the event. All right, so go ahead and fight for the jackets. Have those jackets draped on your back because we know the returning champs are going to be back. We know that. Are you going to fight for a green jacket? A blue jacket, whatever jackets we have, which are the jackets. I believe they're green and blue. All right. Fight for the jackets. Do it. Come out and play the two-man scramble event of the year. I mean, just look at that graphic. If that doesn't make you want to go out and play some golf and fight in the two-man scramble, I don't know what does. Okay, now the original graphic, I was shirtless in this picture, and it got some mixed reactions, but most of them weren't good. Okay, and I thought I looked pretty good in this picture. It was denied, so I had what I do. I had to put a shirt on. Okay, I had to put a shirt on and recreate it. And that's what we did. We have to abide by certain regulations. I guess. I guess that's what we call it nowadays. And to make the people happy, I guess we have to be PC, and that is being politically correct. That's what we had to do, and that's what we did. We got the image out there, and it has been confirmed to be in the scorecard at Briar Ridge all year long. So check it out. Go out, play some golf at Briar Ridge, get a practice round in, get a feel for the course. You'll get the official course reading going into the tournament, into the week of the tournament. How are the greens rolling? How are the fairways looking? Where are the hard pan spots? Um, a lot of research has to be done on the course management. Okay, within yourself has to be done to be successful in this tournament and any tournament really. But it's for a great cause. It's benefiting the Thomas Smith Memorial Foundation as we've been doing the last couple of years now. And they're a great partner of ours. We love the mission that they're going for, and they do a lot of great things in the state of Michigan and beyond for heart research and diagnosing undiagnosed heart ailments in young athletes, young adults, and everybody. So they do a lot of great work at the Thomas Smith Memorial Foundation. I'm very close with the Smiths. So go check out their website, check out the foundation, check out all the good things they do. And it can all be found by scanning that QR code. That'll take you to the landing page of the GSNC, but it also has affiliate links in there that will take you to the Thomas Smith Memorial Foundation website, which will tell you everything that they do for the world of athletes, essentially, young athletes, young adults, and everybody. So they do a lot of great stuff. Check out all the links that are in that graphic and scan the QR code. That'll take you everywhere you want to go. So we're excited. We're excited. There's been some mixed reactions. Yeah, it's getting close to Labor Day. Yeah, it's not on Father's Day weekend anymore. But hey, listen, I'm going to clear everything up. We like fall golf here at GSM. We love fall golf. We love it more than summer golf. Okay, now summer golf is great. Summer golf is hot. Summer golf is fun. Okay, it's fun in the sun. But this is still fun in the sun. Might be a little bit cooler out. It's not quite fall yet, so the leaves aren't really changing colors yet. You might see a little bit of color, a little bit yellowing, but the mentality is that is the beginning. That is the horizon of fall golf, which is the best season of golf there is. Before the leaves fall, there's a brisk breeze in the air. It's not as hot as it was in the summer in August and July and June, late June. It gets real hot, real muggy in the state of Michigan around that time. So just go out, take pride in the fall golf, be prepared for the fall golf. The course is going to be in great form. So me and George, we put our heads together on this date, and it's going to work. It's going to work. It's going to do great things, and it's going to be a great tournament, a great event. Come out and join and register ASAP so you can get out there and join in on the fun. We're looking forward to it. We'll finish off with some FC25 Gin Gaming. I've been playing some FC25 lately. Okay, we've been jumping back into it, talking about it. We play the game. Me and Ray Allen, we actually play a lot of this game. Play some co-op. We go on, challenge different players. We just jumped into Division 3, so we're contending. We got a great team we're rolling with. We've actually been rolling with Man City. A lot of times been rolling with Bayern Munich as well. But we've had our ups and downs with different teams, maybe teeter-tottered a little bit. But we're on the up and up. The game is playing well. The game is playing as expected. I'm still getting 3-barred quite a bit, which I'm not a big fan of. We know we have impeccable connections. We're both hardwired. We're connected to the servers. We're as close to the servers as we could possibly be. But at the same time, for whatever reason, we are getting 3-barred. And not only 3-barred for a short period of time. We are locked into that 3-barred scenario for the entirety of the match. Now, it's not every match. It might be 2 consecutive matches, but I'd say it's every third match, every third or fourth match. we're getting 3-bar, which that means we're getting a buffer bar at the top of the screen. It's 3 yellow bars that basically say, you don't have as good of a connection as you think you do. And that could be a problem, especially if you're playing against a player or a team that has an impeccable connection where they don't have that 3 bars on the top of their screen. Those 3 bars are the 3 bars of death. And that just makes you one step behind in the controls, makes you one step behind on touches, on shots, on everything. So you're already playing an online game, okay? I compare it to Call of Duty. Call of Duty, it feels like I'm playing the game. I'm in the game. I'm holding the weapon. I'm as in touch with the game as I could possibly be sitting in front of a monitor with a controller in my hand playing a video game. Okay, I feel as close as I could be. It's you got a fluctuating ping, a fluctuating connection to the server, but it can recover, has the potential to recover, and the gameplay is fixed, essentially. Now, they've nerfed a lot of things where I was playing a lot of pubs, which are multiplayer games, not Warzone primarily, but they've nerfed a lot of the features, a lot of the aspects of the game, which I'm not a big fan of. So I haven't touched the game in a while, but I will be back, and we will be back in full force. Trying to get Gin Gaming going back again with our streamers getting up there and competing against the world in a streaming setting. So that's in the works currently. But for now, we just have a community of gamers that are passionate about individual games. A lot of different games that are being thrown around in the community, which is GSN. But it's a lot of fun. Gaming is fun. Do it in moderation. And it was said too, okay? Rewind yourself. And this is a tough position to put yourself in. It's a reality check. Put yourself in the shoes of yourself. Okay, maybe you're playing 360, maybe you're playing some Xbox One, maybe you're playing PS4, whatever you're playing. And think about the fun that you had playing games. Think about the fun. You don't have to worry about tomorrow. You don't have to worry about paying your bills, paying your taxes. You don't have to worry about paying for gas. A lot of this stuff is in the background. Okay, you take yourself to those times playing the games. It was a lot more fun now than it is nowadays. Now you're playing the game. Unless you're making money directly from the game, you're sitting there like, damn, I have bills to pay. I have a life to live, and I'm wasting my life. I'm not locked in. So I'm here to give you a reality check. Yes, that may be the case, but still, take some time for yourself. Don't overindulge by any means when it comes to video games. Don't overindulge. You're not going to be happy with the outcome. But take some time for yourself if you have the time, if you have the ability. Take some time and play some games. It's not a big deal. You're going to be fine. And take some time for yourself. Little words of wisdom for you. So we'll leave it at that, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to the GSN pod. We'll see you here next time. Make sure to check out all of our links in the bottom of the podcast in the description. Check out our link tree. Check out our website, ginsportsnetwork.com. And check us out on IG at @GinSportsNetwork. And hit us up on Twitter/X at GinPros. We'll see you there, and get at us, shout at us, hop on the show, do what you want to do. We're open to all forms of conversation, positive, negative. We'll deal with it accordingly. And follow me on Twitter as well at GinCommish. All the links, as I mentioned, will be in the bottom of this podcast in the description. So check us out, and we'll see you here next time on the Gin Sports Network podcast. For now, I'm John J. II. Have a great night.